You've heard by now, Britain's Prince Philip has passed away.
And the Queen made the announcement about 40 minutes ago and said that he passed earlier this morning. Of course, they're farther into the day than we are.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
The Duke of Edinburgh was 99 years old when he passed peacefully in his sleep, and he would have turned 100 this June. Most recently, as you know, he made headlines because he spent a month in the hospital for treatment of an infection. He even had a procedure that was done, but he went home. So I think a lot of people just felt he was going to be fine.
Yeah.
So what happens next, and what will this mean? And of course, people are still reacting. So I want to bring in royal expert Rob Shooter.
Hey, Rob.
Hi.
Joining us live. And we've shown views of Buckingham Palace and also the official notice of Windsor Castle, but I imagine it's going to be a big day of mourning.
Yeah. I think the British public were aware that this was going to happen. He was 99 years old.
Sure.
He'd spent a month in hospital. When he left hospital, I think it was his wish to die at home, which I think a lot of people can understand. He died at Windsor Castle, and now funeral arrangements will start to take place because of who he is. These plans have been in the works, actually, for several years. Each of the major royals in the family have protocol and have plans that kick into place. So we'll see a funeral happening soon. I think the big question everybody's asking is, will Harry and Meghan fly in for this? My insiders are telling me, yes, they will. They cannot miss this. But a really sad day in Britain. But I think, too, people are celebrating what an extraordinary life this man has led.
Gosh,
I mean, the longest living royal consort in British royal history.
Yeah, and there was a lot of controversy about that. When she became the Queen, there was some discussion about him becoming the king. He wanted that title. She said, no, I'm going to be the Queen. You can be the Duke of Edinburgh. He had to tolerate that at the time. He wasn't that happy about it. But after all these years, the pair of them really have been a great team. He's her biggest champion and advisor.
That's for sure.
She didn't make a decision really without consulting him. So this is a big loss for her.
Can you... I admit, I need to be brought up to speed on the royals. That's why we're thrilled to have you here when stuff happens. She made the decision that Philip wouldn't be a king?
It's really interesting, isn't it? So it's changed, but the rules used to be that the first boy would be the next monarch. Right. So Queen Elizabeth's dad had 2 girls. That's why there's so few queens. Had she had a younger brother, Queen Elizabeth would never have been queen. So it's not the first child, it was the first boy. Oh. So that's why Britain has very, very few queens. If you look back over the history of Britain, it's littered with kings, very, very few queens. And get this, when a king is anointed, becomes the king, his wife immediately becomes queen. That's not the case.
Well, we're going to go a long time without a queen then, right?
We are. Next we've got Charles next, then we've got William, and then we've got their son George. So it's going to be now many, many years until we have another queen on the throne. A sad day, but I am told too they are trying to celebrate an extraordinary life.
Yes. And what will that look like then? I know there's going to be a mourning period. Things have been paused for today?
Yeah, things have been paused for today. Flags are flying at half-mast. The tributes around the world are flooding in. This man was history. They got together 5 years before she became queen. And so he went. He's had an extraordinary life. He was penniless. He was a prince of Greece, kicked out the country, penniless, and now he sits next to the Queen of England. What a life.
Penniless.
And there was and even though they've been married since, what, the 40s, right? I know there was controversy when they got married as well.
Yeah.
That she chose him.
She said it was love at first sight. And so he's handsome and everything she looked for in a man. And there was a little bit of surprise, although she was going to be the Queen of England, so maybe that helped a little bit. But the two of them have been rocked by scandals. But you know what? They survived them all. And this marriage is a testament to love and perseverance. And now we're going to start seeing funeral plans, which I'm told will happen within the next 2 or 3 weeks. It will be a big state funeral.
Yeah.
Even though I read, I think it was from the Daily Mail, that he didn't want to lie in state, right? He said he didn't want the fuss.
Yeah, he's not that fussy, actually. He doesn't want to be bothered by all this. Nevertheless, he was the husband to the Queen, and there's certain protocol that they will follow.
That will happen. Sam, in the control room there, can you punch up the shot of Buckingham Palace again? So what do you expect, Rob, there at We have a live shot. I don't think you can see it. It's a cloudy day. It's 8 minutes past 1 o'clock in the afternoon there. Is this one of those situations where people will just come and stand and and maybe lay flowers or not?
It's already beginning in Britain. I spoke to my mommy 10 minutes ago, who's in London, and she's off to the corner store to buy some flowers, to walk over and lay some flowers there. He was loved. Most Brits at that age, most Brits cannot remember anybody else on the throne. So my entire life, my entire mom's life, he's always been on the throne next to the Queen. So this is a massive change in the British institution today. And I think the future looks bright, but it also does come at a time where there's been lots of questions about the future of this family.
Right.
But you're right. It's going to be all overshadowed by, will Harry and Meghan show up?
It is. And they really don't want to get into that today, but everybody's talking about it. Sources inside the palace, they're already trying to plan what do they do here. Tricky. They have to.
Yeah. So Rob, I know that he was 99, but does it make you sad?
It makes me sort of fulfilled. This is an extraordinary life. He tried to do good in his life, and he's been sitting next to the Queen that I think most Brits, recent polls certainly indicate, is one of the most beloved people in the nation. And so I think at 99, it was time. He was clearly suffering. The latest photographs of him, he did not look well. I'm so happy that his last wish was not to die in hospital, but to get back home. Even though it's a castle, it's still his house. And to be in his own bed makes me sort of comforted.
And Windsor.
And I know you keep mentioning he lived such a life, because he was adventurous and he was very active, even in his old age. I mean, we remember there are pictures of him driving, and he still wanted to live his life the way he wanted to live it.
He certainly did. He was a stubborn fox. He got himself in trouble all the time for saying terrible things. He liked the ladies. He liked to look at a pretty girl. And he was from that generation that, things hadn't quite changed it. I think this whole world at the moment we're living through was very alien to him. And I hope that the funeral is a moment of peace. And honestly, I've got to say it. If this can't bring those boys together, if this can't bring William and Harry together, then I don't know what can. So maybe this will be a refresh, a restart for the family.
That would be wonderful. Thanks, Rob.
Yes, thank you.
You're the best. Take care. See you soon.
All right.